All right.
shall we?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So, last session, the party did a bit of investigating, fact finding, and such, um, and checking out the Serpool encampment that turned out to be populated by Vistani, including the mysterious Madame Eva, who somehow not only knew each of the characters' names, but was also able to discern something about their future, or actually a number of some things about their future. And so, armed with the knowledge of where to find, a number of apparently helpful things or people, as well as where they might make some sort of a stand against Strahd, the party eventually uh, moved on, or at least kind of went back to the wagon and prepared to do so. As a conversation sort of unfolded between the party and their unlikely companion, the traveling entertainer Rictavio, um, discussions of a certain individual who may be looking for a mentor, an old mentor, um, seemed to elicit some sort of emotional response from him. And after pressing the matter, Rictavio felt that there was really no other course of action than to reveal his true identity, that of Rudolf van Richten, the uh, rather illustrious vampire hunter. Upon this revelation, there were certainly some conversations to be had. Uh, First of which being between Ron and Van Richten, as the party sort of set up to take a night's rest after an eventful day. And that's about where we left off.
Indeed.
So, I guess specifically, Ron, what are you doing?
I believe I had started off or we had left off when I had told him, hey, why don't we share something, share
Mm-hmm.
stories. You go first, and I will.
All right. Well, um, Rictavio, as you've taken to still calling him,
Mm-hmm.
sort of settles in, taking a sip from a wineskin that you see him kind of produce from one compartment of the wagon that you've been riding in. And he goes on to tell you about his uh, his family that he once had, his lovely wife and his son, who, his son was one day stolen from him by some roving band of uh, vengeful evildoers. And while he doesn't really want to go into the details, he certainly seems to indicate that things did not end well. And as he kind of comes to the conclusion of his story, he says, "We should probably part ways sooner rather than later.
Why is that?
Anyone who gets close to me has a tendency to, well, things don't work out so well for them.
I don't think that'll be an issue. Things tend to not work very well around me as well. A lot of times that's my own doing. Didn't used to be that way, but I don't know. Ever since I got one request from I don't even remember what the group was called, but some group of people wanted me and my band to come play, come perform for them. But I don't know, I just got a weird feeling about it and said, no, I really can't make it. And ever since then, shit's really been kind of going downhill. Things have been happening. I mean, everything with the band's okay, but just bad luck has been happening to me a lot. Be it just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or, just weird. But personally, I don't really think we should separate because, well, we've got strength in numbers now.
Well, that may be the case, but should our group fall as one, there's not much left standing to oppose the forces of Strahd and those that cater to his will.
Yeah, I suppose that's a fair point. By the way, how did you end up getting stuck here?
Well, the individuals who decided to wrong me so, the incident with my family, some of them were, well, they traced their roots back to Barovia. And, well, upon learning of the situation in which Barovians find themselves, I couldn't help but be drawn to the place, and, well, I've been here for some time now, fact-finding and doing whatever research I can to, hopefully, when the time is right, strike and fell the foul creature that has taken up residence here and begun to oppress all of these people.
Well, and here's a question I have for you about that then. Do you ever have stop and have the notion that maybe it just isn't your fight? And I'm just saying from personal standpoints, there have been a lot of times where it's not really my fight. How do you involve yourself on that? Or how do you, justify jumping into something like that?
Well, one must occasionally consider that there are other things in this life to value besides one's own comfort or at times even well-being. Though I may have misled you about my true identity, it is true that I draw much of my power from the Morning Lord. And, Well, it would not befit a servant of Lathander to sit idly by as people are being oppressed and tortured and killed by something that stands entirely opposed to all that Lathander decrees to be right and good.
Okay. That makes sense. I'm not that wise of a man, as you know. I don't make the best decisions, so I guess as long as my goals line up with yours, which at this point is to leave safely alive. And I suppose that really should be all the incentive I would need.
Well, you claim not to be a wise man. First step in acquiring wisdom is recognizing that you don't already have it. The next is to find someone from whom you can learn and with whom you can develop yourself. I will say that my time learning the ways of the Morning Lord has certainly empowered me beyond what you see when my hands are aglow with divine light. I think anyone would do well to at least entertain the notion of opening up to some divine power such as that.
I can see that being important. I may have to look into that then. Um, Now I know Malkar did mention a few things that he drew a lot of his wisdom from.
Wisdom and power are not always the same thing.
So the wisest may not always be the strongest.
And the strongest may not always be the wisest, but it is probably in anyone's best interest to make the wise decision, as brute force is not always the means to victory.
Okay, that's good to keep in mind. I probably should get some rest.
Yes, you should. You're looking tired. It's been a long day for us all.
Indeed, it has. I'm gonna bunk down in the usual spot, and I go over and open the trapdoor and climb down in.
Okay. Alright. And I think the other two have already gone off to bed, yeah?
Yeah.
I was waiting for someone to wake me up to take watch at some point.
Okay.
I didn't even think about it. I'll just let Rictavio handle it.
Okay. So, yeah, you all drift off to sleep. And, well, it's still a bit cold out here in the woods. Even though you do have a bit of shelter from the cutting wind of Barovia, as you are sheltered on more or less three sides by the trees here. Still a bit of a challenge to drift off to sleep. But you do. And as everything sort of fades away and you begin your rest after this long day, you all suddenly jolt to sudden awareness, finding yourselves not in your improvised campsite near the side of the Serre pool, but in some dark stone chamber. Seems just overwhelmingly musty and damp. You look down, and while you can't feel it, you can see that there is probably a good 6 inches of water settled at the bottom of this chamber, where each of you sit, all within view of each other, all bound to cold metal chairs. You can see by a single flickering light near the middle of the room, single candle burnt nearly almost all the way down.
What is the candle sitting on?
Just sort of a small wooden stool.
Prestidigitation, I'm lighting the stool on fire.
Okay, it doesn't seem to work.
I look over at Malkar and cast message and try to send him a message.
What would you like to send him?
Malkar, none of my spells work. What do I do?
Malkar, you hear nothing. Ron seems to be looking over in your direction.
I use my
concernedly.
awakened mind and ask him what's wrong.
And Ron, you do not hear anything from Malkar.
What?
I'll say out loud, Malkar, are your spells working?
I
You
guess
try
not.
to speak, and yet nothing manages to escape your mouth.
Oh shit.
Oh, you said we're bound to the chair? In what way?
There are metallic sort of straps or like shackles, essentially, holding you firm, holding each wrist to the edge of an arm of the chair, and then binding each ankle to sort of a plate that runs down the front.
Huh. It's like an electrocution chair, kinda.
More or less, yeah.
Ah. I'm just gonna shrug. So it seems a little dark in here because there's only a little bit of a candlelight.
Yeah.
Am I able to see anything else? Or is my vision not working too?
Looking around, it doesn't seem that your dark vision is working as usual, but all of your eyes are beginning to adjust a bit. And you see, standing in sort of an arched doorway at one side of the room, there are a pair of figures. One seemingly wearing some sort of heavy cloak, probably lined with heavy furs, and just sort of standing motionless there. And the other, a more familiar shape. As that one steps forward, you do recognize the imposing form of Strahd von Zarevich. And
I want to try and like lift my hand a little bit and just kind of wave at him a little bit as much as I can, even though I'm bound.
okay, you can kind of like basically fold your hand up a little and kind of like waggle some fingers.
Okay, that works.
I'm gonna.
uh,
As soon as
go
I
ahead.
notice this, I want to say, Strahd. What? Why? Why am I tied up? Or try to.
Okay. Yeah, you feel your mouth making the words, and yet you just can't seem to hear anything, or even like feel the reverberations of your voice in your chest. It's like there's just no sound, not even escaping, but not even being produced.
Hmm.
But
I'm
he
just gonna
sort
sit
of
here.
looks over. Okay, he sort of just looks over in your direction and smirks, and then sort of turns to face Yoan, who has been rather stoic up to this point. Just sort of chuckles under his breath and um, pulling a longsword out of its hefty sheath and hefty scabbard, I should say, and placing it on a raised stone shelf that sort of sits up against one wall. You see him just sort of begin to run the blade along the neck of your half-orc companion. It's a strange sensation for Yoan because you can see this happening, but you can't actually feel any of it.
Does it look like his throat's being slit, or is it just like touching?
Right now, it just seems to be touching.
I'm watching intently.
I want to say, Strahd, why are you doing this?
Well, you try to say that.
Yep. Yep.
And the blade sort of just runs along Yoan's throat, back and forth, not seeming to pierce at all, just in an almost playful manner. Before there's this blinding flash of light, and you all find yourselves seemingly in the same room, situated the same way, though as each individual of you look around and take in the sight of your companions still bound to the seats around you, you can see that they all look considerably more worn. Their clothes have been stained and torn in various places. And there's a fourth seat that is now situated in the middle. So you're all sort of looking in toward this seat, which is at the center of your formation. And it is just sort of sitting there. And for a moment, you think that this must just be a corpse or something that's been planted in the seat. And most of the skin has been peeled back, and there are exposed muscles and ligaments and things. But you do eventually notice that there is just the faintest kind of stuttering, staggered breath.
How far away am I from this?
It's probably about 10 feet in front of you.
I'm gonna try to like wiggle in my chair and see if I can get like hop and like make the chair move.
Okay. As you do that, you realize that either this thing is really fucking heavy or it's fixed to the floor somehow. It's hard to tell exactly because that water is still sitting there at the bottom of the chamber. Um, maybe even a little bit higher than it was before.
Okay. So I am going to do this, cast Shatter on the chair.
Okay. Your spell seems to have no effect.
No? Fuck. Fuck it. I'm gonna cast Eldritch Blast on the dude that's all cut up. Then.
Okay. So yeah, you try to extend your hand as much as you can, and nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
I'm just gonna slump back. Defeated.
Alright, there's another blinding flash as, again, you find yourself strapped to the seat that you've been in this whole time. You look around and you see there's still 3 other chairs in this room, but you can't tell who any of these people are or were. What you saw in the center is now essentially what you see in both of the other seats. And you find yourself unable to move, just sort of sitting slumped in your seat. And there is a sharp, cool breeze that sweeps across the chamber, and the candle flickers out. And you all wake up with a start back in your camp. At this point,
Do we take exhaustion?
well, Sadie is very concerned for you, first of all.
Yes.
However, let's see. Melkar, your maximum HP is reduced by 7.
Ah,
Yoan, yours is reduced by 9. And Ron, yours is reduced by 8.
Alright.
And you do not seem to be anywhere near reaching a long rest.
jeez, I think we got the same curses before.
Mine's 9. Do I lose that many hit points too?
It would just come off of your max. Like, if you were that close to your max, you would naturally lose them because you can't have that many. But if it's just taking it off of your max, then that's all you need to do. There's a very concerned dog here that I think we need to do something about. So I guess I'll let the very concerned players do something while I do something about the very concerned dog.
Malco suggests Bark Collar.
What?
I said Malco suggests Bark Collar.
Because evil.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do because I don't have any of my spells.
I'm gonna get some food. I'll be back.
Alright. As long as Becca still has that spell, she can remove this again.
Well, right, but I can't give you guys a sphere either.
A what?
The sphere.
Oh, you're talking about
Allow
sleep?
you guys to sleep, yeah.
I think it's only, from what I'm understanding, it's like you only take the damage when you sleep outside, or like shelter or anything, and it's only at dark.
But I slept in shelter.
Maybe it's gotta be like an actual house. Or the dome. because that protects you from spells and stuff.
Yeah. I'll probably have to save that then. If we can find a way to rest and get that back.
You don't have it anymore?
Well, I don't have any spells.
I don't have my spells to dispel magic, so
Because lack of spell slots, or because you
Well,
forgot it?
you could short rest, couldn't you, and get it back?
me? No.
Yeah.
No,
I
Uh,
can.
he can.
I thought you could
I
short.
can do.
You can do some spells.
I think the spell slots is long rest pretty good
These
though.
spell slots can have a combined level that's equal to less than. Okay, yeah, I can just get one.
Yeah, if you can get one and do it to me, I can try to rest a little bit more and see if I can get my sphere. And then you can have the sphere, and that should fix both of you guys.
Okay, short rest it is.
How much gold do you have?
Who, me?
Yeah,
Enough.
you have at least 100 you'd be willing to spend
Depends on what it's on.
teaching me the ritual so I can cast it as a ritual.
Yeah, I'd drop 100 gold on that.
I have 53, which would cover the other part.
Yeah, I'll drop 116 on it if I have to.
Yeah, let's do the 100 and I'll do the 50.
Okay.
And then whenever you can change your spells, you can get rid of that if you want to.
Well, I can just give it to you, then you can cast it, and then I don't have to.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once you can
Oh,
teach
yeah,
it.
yeah. That'll be nice. And you can cast it as a ritual, so you can cast it as many times as you want, right?
Yeah,
Sweet. And that takes, what, 3 hours? Since it's a level 3?
oh no. It takes 6 hours to learn, and it's 2 hours per level of the spell, plus 50 gold per level of the spell.
Okay, yeah, I'll teach you for whatever time I can.
What are the ingredients or whatever does it need to cast?
Let me see. A small crystal bead, which I can give you.
I need to get another arcane focus.
Kills Rictavio and hands you his.
I think it has to be certain things for your class.
Possibly.
Mine
Also,
let me choose whatever I wanted.
I'll look it up, just make sure.
yeah, I have yet to stop recording because 30 minutes is not long enough. So what is our plan? Then short rest. Do you want to heal? I don't know. How do we want to? I guess the best way is we all short rest. I'll teach Melkar over 6 hours how to do the sphere. Have him do that, or the hut, and then have him cast that, and then we can short rest or long rest. I mean, and should be good then.
Just have back-to-back 6 hours of short rest.
Well, no, we can head wherever we're gonna head. I don't know where we're gonna head, but during that time, I can teach Melkar the sphere, and then when we get there, we can long rest, and we should be better. And then he can reserve that for his. Like, he can cast that every day, and I don't have to save a spell slot for it. We never found Aurelia, or whatever the hell her name is.
Irina?
Irina, that one.
Yeah, we didn't.
When you get spell slots back, you can messenger if you wanted to, or sending or whatever it's called.
Yeah, that was what I had planned on doing. Do you have sending?
I do not.
Oh. Is it one you can get?
I don't think so.
Oh.
I could. Wait. No, I think I can get it at a higher level. Let me open up my book. I'm pretty sure it's something I learned soon.
Oh.
Or what level spell is it?
For me, it's 3.
Pretty sure I can learn it soon. Oh yeah, okay, no, I can learn it now. I just need to level up. That's what I've been wanting to change spells anyways.
Sounds like we need a petition for a level up then.
It's been a few sessions.
Just a few.
At least like 4 or 5.
It's been more than that.
That's what I was thinking, at least 4 or 5. I think I've been wanting to switch my spells for 3 or 4.
It's been since the winery.
Yeah.
It's before the winery, actually.
Well, yeah, because we fought all the druids and Winter Splinter and all that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd be getting rid of the tiny hut and getting something better.
It's a good spell, just why not give it to me when I can cast this for free?
Actually, can I? Now that I'm thinking of it, can I just cast it as a ritual?
Does your class allow you to cast as rituals, or do you have the feat to do it?
It has a ritual tag.
Yeah, but you still can't do it unless your class or feat you have allows you to do it. Like
Can't hear
my
you, Eric.
tome casting, I'm the only class in the game who can do that.
Right, but other classes can cast stuff as rituals.
I know, but
Yeah, but I don't know if bards can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can
Yes.
hear you.
Okay.
So, Eric, can I cast a... Could I have casted the tiny hut if it has a ritual tag? Like, even if I don't have a spell slot, that's what the casting it as a ritual is for, right?
your class has to be able to cast as ritual.
Yeah, so let's see.
Well,
That's what I'm looking up right now. See if bards can.
identify as a ritual as well that I could do.
Yeah, you
I
got me
just
that.
can't use yours. Because I was trying to use your ritual book, and your rituals are a little bit different than mine. Whereas you use like the blood of the innocent. I sing. The only reason I asked that is if I could have, I would have then done the
Okay.
tiny hut overnight.
All right.
Just didn't realize that it was something that I didn't realize it was a ritual that I could cast it as.
Okay. Well,
Sorry, Eric.
let's see. That's okay. Um, yeah, you can just do that. So that's a thing.
Cool.
So, retcon it for a little bit. The conversation with Rictavio ends, and then Ron does what as his two friends are off sleeping already?
Yeah.
I would assume they were right next to the cart.
Alright, hold
I was
on.
on top.
Wait for Becca to come back. It's better if you say it on the headset.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't realize it was ritual until I was going to teach it to Malkar. I'm like, oh wait, that's a thing I could have done. It's a thing
Yeah.
I would have done then. Because I know it worked before, and I've used it for that.
I asked Ron before I went to sleep if he could make the hut, and he said no. So I would have waited for him to make the hut.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool. So then people wait up for Ron then?
Yep.
I
All you
was
have to do is
up
be
the
in.
wagon.
Yeah, you just have to be in the vicinity of the wagon, and I would go down and cast it so that it would encompass pretty much the wagon if I could.
Yeah, that's doable. Okay.
So everybody, it should have been me, Rictavio, Malkar, and Yoan in it,
Okay.
and the tiger.
Okay. So, yeah, you cast the hut, and then you all drift off to sleep, slightly more sheltered from the wind and such.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you fall asleep and experience the same fucked up dream that I described earlier.
Cool.
That spell didn't protect us from it?
Nope.
Ah.
That's fine. Now we know that it doesn't.
So, as you are all jolted awake, this time in the shelter of the hut, what are you doing?
Did I lose my spell when I tried to cast Shatter before?
No, you did not.
Alright. Cool. I'll wake up and say, wow. Okay, I'll climb out and see if anybody else is awake.
I mean, you find me and Malkar awake.
So, I had a shitty dream.
That's what we had the other day. Well,
Oh.
dreams like it, not the same one.
Yeah. So we all had the same dream. That's weird. Um. Yeah, I couldn't sleep after that, so. Uh, where are we
Is
going?
Rictavio awake too?
Yeah, he seems to be sleeping soundly.
What?
You know what would solve this issue? A couple dream pastries. I glare at Yoan.
Can I try and do that commune thing I did before when I ended up hearing all the voices?
Your daily
Um,
trolling of the voice.
Maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, you could sit down and try to reach out, I suppose, and see who responds to you this time.
Can I try and focus on the Finger of Oblivion again?
Sure. How do you reach out to the Finger of Oblivion?
Um, like the way I was doing before, I was just like trying to commune with something, and then heard all the voices, and then I focused on that voice.
All right. And so yeah, you sit down, sort of try to clear your mind and reach out to whatever this Finger of Oblivion might be. And it takes a while to kind of get everything to that perfect stillness that you need to really reach out and um, establish a bond with some other force through meditation. But eventually, there is just this uh, devious sounding voice that once again you hear in your head. It says, "Yes, you have returned."
Yeah, so I was doing some thinking. You said I get to judge people?
Yes.
In what way?
Well, if you remember, I did say how curious blood is, how it flows red, but can easily bring death. So I say it ought to be black. My gift would confer you the power to make that judgment.
How often could I use such a thing?
As many times as I permit you to.
Well, how many times are you permitting me to? Because this sounds fun.
He sort of chuckles under his breath. Kind of this almost wispy, echoing sound that just sort of reverberates through the space in your mind's ear, essentially, and says, "Well, there would certainly be more to such an arrangement, but the most powerful component of my blessing could be used 3 times."
Oh. I guess I'll give it a shot. Can I have more later?
So you wish to take my gift?
Sure.
So be it. At this point, you see the two of you who are not currently communing with the Finger of Oblivion. You see Malkar suddenly fling himself back and collapse on his back, convulsing, sort of foaming at the mouth, and not saying anything, not really making any noise other than the thud of his body just banging against the ground and perhaps a bit of the wagon as he's kind of thrown back into it.
The hell? What's up with him?
I don't know. Can I medicine check him?
Sure, go ahead and make a medicine check.
Oh,
Nothing is medically wrong.
Okay, so looking him over, you can't really determine any cause of what you're seeing. But as you, reach down to examine for any sort of, maybe he got some kind of nasty bite or sting or something. Something might have injected toxins into his bloodstream. You don't see any piercings or perforations, bites, stings, anything like that. But what you do notice, especially when you get down toward his wrists, is there is this creeping blackness that seems to be reaching through his bloodstream, and you can watch as every visible blood vessel turns to a grayish black, spider webbing all up and down his form. Even the veins in his temples and along his neck just turn a sickly black color.
Can I do an Arcana check at this point?
Sure.
I turn to Ron and be like, "Well, it's you didn't get bit by anything poisonous or venomous. I'm not sure."
I'm just kind of watching over his shoulder.
He just continues twitching and convulsing for another minute or two before just kind of going limp. And at this point, Malkar, you wake up on your back. Kind of just staring up at the sky. Your fellow travelers congregated around you and trying to figure out what the hell just happened.
what's going on? Something on my face?
You were fucked up, dude.
All your veins are black.
You look kind of cool.
I look down at my hands and arms.
Yeah, showing against your pasty white skin are really dark black blood vessels just spiderwebbing all along your form now. And you can feel kind of a dull throbbing as your heart beats now, almost as though it's having to work a little bit harder to move whatever it is that's now coursing through your veins.
Do I feel like I'm gonna die? Like I'm gonna have a heart attack?
No. It's certainly a strange feeling, but it's not painful.
Okay. Can I kind of rub my chest a little bit?
You feeling okay?
Feel a little weird, but for the most part, I'm okay. I just kind of stretch.
I cast a message to him and say, was this part of whatever that book was?
No,
Can I insight check message thought? Like a.
I suppose.
Alright. I believe. Oh, okay. I message back. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully your veins turn out to be better soon.
They look alright to me. Kind of like it.
It is cool.
Yeah, well, as far as I can tell, nothing's physically wrong with you, so.
You get another message. Do you have superpowers now?
Superpowers. What do you mean?
I don't know. I've seen people get bit or heard stories of people getting bitten and having special powers.
I don't think I was bitten by anything. Not that I'm aware of, unless something happened during my sleep.
Okay.
Maybe it was part of whatever got us.
Okay.
Would that be a deception check?
No, I just believe you. My insight check stands.
That's fair.
So, I don't think, even if you roll a nat 1, I don't think you would be under a 2. So.
Alright.
Look at Yon and say, well, okay, now that that's over, what's next? What are we doing?
Did we sleep?
You have not yet taken a long rest.
Oh, that's right.
We could always send Octavio to the other side of Barovia and just sleep on the way.
Yeah, hopefully that works.
Oh wait,
Sleep during-
shit, you're the horse.
Yeah.
How far are we from any kind of settlement or ruins, like that windmill or something?
I point just down the road to where the, like, gypsy town is.
Maybe we can buy a horse?
That too. I was just kind of more pointing out the obvious to him. Sorry, Malkar. You'll have to excuse me. I'm a little... if I don't get my sleep, I turn into a bit of a dick.
Well, the gypsy town should have horses, so...
I just go lean against the wagon, roll up a joint, and smoke it.
All right.
Looking kind of, kind of ragged, kind of stressed out, just,
Okay. And so as Ron is just leaning there smoking, what's everyone else doing?
Looking at how awesome my veins look now. Thinking of what I should use it on.
Would I know how much a horse would cost?
Well, you know that back home, depending on the type of horse, the breed and the quality and all of that stuff, you'd be looking at somewhere between 50 and 75 gold.
Oh,
Like, should we buy a horse? Well, if we want to go anywhere, we need to buy a horse.
How much is it?
50 to 70 gold, abouts.
Jeez, we need to do something to make money.
Yeah.
How much do you guys have?
Uh,
Just a little over. Go ahead.
23 gold.
Oh, jeez. A little over 50.
Well, we can either do this. Either I can teach Melkar my dome, so
Well,
that I
the
don't have
dome
to.
didn't work.
Well, but it'll still protect us.
How so?
Nothing can get in or out, like, unless we let it.
Yeah,
So.
but we can't rest as long as we're, having magical problems.
Yeah.
Do I still feel weaker? Like my max hit points is still lower after getting this new power?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then oh,
How
what do
big
we
is this
do?
wagon? Could we push it?
Yeah, you could probably if you all got together and pushed. I mean, you're about a quarter mile out from the Vistani camp, so it'd be a bit of a haul, but certainly doable.
Hmm.
So we can push it to the Vistani camp.
Isn't that where we just left?
Yeah.
What about that windmill? How close are we to that?
Considerably farther. Like, actually, let me. Yeah, you guys are on the Barovia map, so you are essentially here. The Vistani camp is here. The windmill is here.
I guess try and go back and rest there if we're allowed.
Yoan, can you go horse or no?
No.
Alright. I'm not very strong, just warning you guys. You know
we
what? Maybe I'd be
probably
better off.
talk to Octavio first.
Oh.
He's still lying there.
I look at Malkar and cast message and say, do you want to do the honors or should I?
Honors of what?
Waking him up, of course.
I guess I will.
Okay. And I'll gesture towards, for him to go ahead. This was all messaged, by the way.
Okay.
So.
I'll go up to Octavio and like shake his leg or shoulder or something, whatever's closer.
Okay. So yeah, it takes like a couple seconds of shaking him, but eventually he does kind of. What? What do you need?
We were all attacked by a curse spell, and we needed to find shelter.
Oh, that's not done yet. Oh shit.
Wait, what hasn't? What?
Whatever you spoke about last time we tried to rest, it's the same thing, yes?
I assume so. I
Probably.
don't know. It didn't affect
Uh,
me last time.
Hmm.
It doesn't seem to affect you either.
I'm not sure. It seems odd that it would vary from evening to evening. I'm not sure what to make of this. Well, what's the plan then? To the camp?
Um, we're gonna go try to get you a horse.
Oh. All right. From the camp?
I'll find out if I can. If not, find out where I can.
Well, should you decide to find one at the camp and you're not appropriating it without letting anyone know, you should probably leave my name out of discussion.
Oh, definitely.
Good. As long as we understand each other.
Yep. Not gonna mention, Rictavio.
Does he notice my black veins at all?
Well, having kind of just been snapped out of things and kind of looking around, not even having his glasses on yet, he just sort of looks to the first person that actually engages him in conversation. So, probably wouldn't have seen yet, but he's fumbling around, kind of trying to fix himself up as best he can, having been woken out of a pretty deep sleep.
Oh, Rictavio. Another question.
Yes?
I think Malkar might have sneezed at the night and he broke himself.
What? How do you mean?
I don't know. He just it looks like one time I sneezed and my eye got all red. And yeah, it looks like he sneezed and his whole body is red. Like
He finally finds his glasses off, to one side of him and kind of fumbles with them, and getting them on properly and, just leveled out just so and everything like that. And looks over at Malkar and just his eyes go wide and he sort of, perhaps a bit unwillingly or involuntarily, I guess I should say, kind of recoils at the sight of him. Oh,
Can't look that bad.
this just happened?
Yeah, he.
Looked like he had a seizure. And
What was he doing before? Was he out in the woods? What happened?
he was meditating.
One moment I'm on top of the wagon, meditating. The next moment, waking up to them around me.
And what were you meditating on exactly?
Before I heard a bunch of voices in my head. I talked to one of them.
You sure that wasn't me?
Pretty sure.
Because I do have spells to put voices in heads. Okay.
Rictavio's eyebrows kind of furrow, as though he's not sure what to make of what you've said. Says, voices, what, is it someone we know? What sort of voices?
They all had a bunch of fancy titles and whatnot. The one I specifically talked to was named the Finger of Oblivion.
He seems to think for a moment, trying to rack his brain and figure out if he knows who that could be. Um, and yeah, he just squints his eyes and says, I'm not sure who might carry that title, but probably not someone you want to cast your lot with. Did you... What was the exchange?
Exchange.
What was the conversation like?
Oh, crap, my mic was muted. It said, he said he'd given me the power to judge people and like turn their blood black. Apparently, death can be involved. He said I could use it 3 times.
That sounds like some sort of dark power. You'd best not play with such things.
I don't know, I look pretty cool, don't I?
You look like you've been touched by something evil.
Wouldn't be the first time.
He just gives you a disapproving look.
What?
I look at Rictavio. So, what happened to him?
I'm not sure the specifics, but it would seem he struck a bargain with something.
Oh. I messaged him, show me how to do this. Melkar, not Rictavio.
Found out on accident. I don't know if I can show you.
I messaged back, we'll talk later.
Okay.
Well, but yes, we're trying to find you a horse, and, I'm not sure where we're off to next. We need to find a place to rest, for sure.
I think sleeping in the daylight might help.
Yeah, it very well could.
Well, so the plan is what? You go to the camp, and I stay here for the time being?
Yeah, it shouldn't be long. We'll get a horse and
Very
then
well.
head out on our way, and the rest of us can sleep.
Seems you have a plan then, so let's get to it.
Okay. Start walking down towards the camp again.
Yep.
Okay. And a few short minutes later, you arrive back at the camp. It's now kind of the dead of night in the woods of Barovia, and the fire that had been burning pretty brightly in the center of camp is now still alive, barely. The number of Vistani sitting around the fire have certainly dwindled down to probably 2 or 3, and you can hear loud snores issuing from a number of the tents and wagons kind of circled up around the fire. Looking around the camp, too, you do see probably better part of a dozen horses tied off near the river at one end of the camp. So what are you doing?
I message Yoan and say, should we just take one and leave some money?
Well, I don't want to take a horse someone needs. But there seems to be quite a few horses.
Yeah, they'll be fine. I message Melkar saying, okay, we're gonna take a horse and leave money.
What does Octavio have to say about this?
Octavio's not there. He's back at the wagon.
Oh,
We're not stealing it. We're taking it and leaving money. Yoan
I'm
said
just gonna
so.
put money on the floor.
We'll put money on... Yeah. Yeah. Hang a sack of coins.
We don't. Do the horses have saddles?
As they are situated there, you do not see saddles on them.
Do they have blankets on?
Most of them.
Okay. I will find one that looks like it suits our purposes and take off its blanket because we have our own, and get the money and put the money inside the blanket and fold it up nicely and leave it where the horse was.
Okay.
How much money are we giving this person?
An amount.
An amount.
Amount I have not contributed to.
Like 50?
Alright. You throw
Okay,
your
so-
23, I'll throw the other 27.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. There's now 50 gold instead of a horse.
I'm just taking it.
I was hoping we would.
Okay.
Alright. And, so what, you just kind of lead the horse out of the camp and back down the road?
Sure.
Okay. It seems a bit apprehensive. Kind of softly whinnying as these strangers approach and kind of unhitch it from with the rest of its horse friends, so to speak.
I'm gonna grab some food and cast Animal Friendship on it.
Okay, where are you grabbing the food from?
Wherever I would assume there's food nearby where the horses are hitched up.
Yeah. Okay,
So.
just checking.
Yeah.
Alright. Okay, so then, yeah, you cast Animal Friendship.
That's a first level spell.
Mm-hmm. I have a couple of those.
Oh, I thought you were all out.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
And it's a DC 16.
Okay. So, go ahead and roll that. And, yeah, it suddenly seems to cozy up quite a bit to Ron.
And then I'll kind of take the lead of from whoever's got it, and I'll start leading it, and just kind of talking to it as just quietly as we're leaving.
Okay. Yeah, since the horse is calmed, it's reasonably quiet as you're making your way out of camp. Kind of making your way through the collection of tents and wagons once again on your way back down to Rotavio's wagon to the south. Okay. You do make it out of camp seemingly without incident, and before too long you're back at Rotavio's wagon with a horse.
Just before we get there, I'm going to message Yoan and say, what's its name?
I guess I'll cast Speak with Animals. And I'll talk to the horse and be like, what's your name?
Okay. It says it can't really understand what the people have been saying, but every time they're nearby, they seem to say acorn.
Okay. Would you like to be called Acorn?
If a horse could shrug.
Okay. Acorn it is. And I'll turn to Ron and say, its name is Acorn.
Acorn, eh? Okay. Cool. So, I will, I guess, head the rest of the way to Rictavio's wagon and say, "Hey, Rictavio, told you we could find a horse." And I look at you and, is it a boy or a girl?
I look under the horse.
It's a boy!
I impart that knowledge to Ron.
His name is Aaron.
Acorn.
Acorn's a girl's name. His name's Aaron.
Whatever.
Aaron Acorn.
Aaron.
Aaron. Aaron Acorn.
What are we gonna call the horse?
Well, you
Aaron
said
Acorn.
Acorn. Triple A.
Aaron Acorn? Triple A.
Okay.
His full name is Aaron Acorn. But you can call him Acorn if you want.
I suppose that will do. And, should we be in a hurry, or...
I would
We left
say... Yeah, but I would say we may not want to hang out too long.
Understood.
We didn't steal it, but...
We didn't buy it either.
Well, we did. It was more
we
of
did.
a take product, leave money.
Yeah.
It should be fine.
Rictavio doesn't really seem to have an issue with it, but certainly seems to understand that this might not be on the up and up.
Okay. I will hop up on the wagon.
Okay. Alright. So, yeah, after a couple minutes getting the new horse that is not Yoan anymore, properly hooked up to the wagon and everything, you are ready to go. And so Rictavio then kind of comes back over and says to the party, so the plan from the sound of things was to head west, but was it the Abbey that we wanted to go to, or some other place in that direction?
Well, we could go to Strahd's mansion for what that lady said in that psychic lady.
And why would we go to Strahd's mansion, as you call it, Castle Ravenloft?
Have a dinner with them? I don't know.
Well, there's a. She said there's a thing there.
Let's do that after we have more help.
Oh. Okay. I'm okay with that.
No, let's go to the Abbey.
Okay.
So, to the Abbey of St. Markovia, by way of Kresk. Very well. Were you about to say something?
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
I was just gonna ask what the dragon, the stone dragon.
Are you going to ask Rictavio what that is? Is that what you're saying?
I think we did, and he said there's a manor in the west. Is that on the way?
It would be a slight detour by maybe a mile or so through the woods.
We should go to the manor first, then the abbey.
And, actually, as a matter of fact, having been spending all this time with Rictavio, you would probably have access to his at least rough approximations of Barovia at that point. So, let's see.
We got a map, or more map. We've unlocked the map.
Maybe.
I unlocked death.
We unlocked the dungeon map.
We unlocked the whole map? Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rictavio seems to have at least a rough idea of where most things are here in Barovia.
All the names of things are blurred out still.
That is convenient, isn't it?
There's only 2 towns here in this place? Or 3 towns?
That we have found. I mean, there's obviously one for the abbey.
Mhm.
Where's Crest?
Kresk is way over here.
We've been nearby
I
there.
didn't see anything.
To the far left.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and for reference, this is the winery.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, if we'd have went straight ahead instead of turning left down the winery.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay. Yeah, I guess onward to towards
Huh?
Kresk.
Talking to Rictavio and that one priest or whatever about the Amber Temple, did I learn the location or a rough location?
Well, you probably would have heard that it's somewhere built into the side of Mount Gakis, which is, well, one of the 2 most prominent mountains visible from Barovia. You're pretty sure it's the mountain that would be, like, in this area. So, kind of anywhere in that white region, yeah, like there, out to maybe there, there, kind of somewhere in that general vicinity.
Okay. Have to go there sometime.
Mm-hmm.
To the Abbey.
To the Abbey.
No, to the
To the manor.
To the manor.
Because it's
All
like
right.
a mile out of our way, then we'll just come back, go to the abbey.
Where's the manor? Oh, okay, so it's down there instead of to the right.
Yeah. Maybe a mile and a half out of your way.
Alright, I'm gonna get back up on the wagon. Ready
Okay.
for travel.
Alright. So, if no one has anything else they'd like to do, Rictavio kind of guides the horse and gets the wagon swung back around to kind of take the long way around so as to avoid running through the Vistani camp.
Can I try and commune again with that finger of a whip?
Sure. You're just gonna sit and try and meditate some more.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it doesn't work after like 10 minutes, I'll just go to sleep.
All right. After probably 5 minutes or so, you do kind of hear this faint whisper in the back of your head. Just, yes. What is it?
You said this was your strongest power. What other powers do you have to offer?
It just sort of chuckles.
Oh, he doesn't want to tell me?
Doesn't seem to be saying anything else.
Oh. Alright, I guess I'll come back at another time. And then I guess I'll just lay down and go to sleep.
Okay. What's everyone else doing for the ride?
I'm sitting down trying to hear voices.
Is it day?
Not yet.
When it's day, I'm going to try and sleep.
Okay. Fair enough. Ron, how does Ron go about sitting and trying to hear voices?
Well, I've seen Malkar sit in a certain pose, so I'm trying to match that pose. And I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, if I could cast message on nothing, that's what I'm trying to do. Because that's how it's always worked before for me, where I can put my voice in people's heads and they talk back to me. So I'm going to try to message people I don't know about.
Okay.
And I'll probably do this for about 15 minutes unless something happens.
All right. So, yeah, you sit there and make sure your posture is just so, and try and focus as much as you can. You reach out, and you can't seem to connect with anything.
See, if I think back, did Malkar have anything on him that was... Like, did he have his ritual book or anything on him?
I mean, it's on my person, but I didn't have it in my hands.
Huh.
There you go.
Damn. Oh well, I'll just, I guess I'll just kind of shrug my shoulders and say, oh, that's kind of dumb. I guess I'll fall asleep.
Alright. And, so yeah, Ron and Malkar just kind of drift off to sleep within the first few minutes of the journey. And Yoan is sure to wait until daylight before doing the same. And you all gradually drift off to sleep, despite the constant shaking and rattling of the wagon and all the things in it. And your vision fades as you turn in for, well, in some cases the night, in other cases the morning. But you do all get a long rest and sleep relatively soundly.
still have our lost max HP, right?
You cut out, but I think I know what you said. Yes, you're still missing maximum HP.
Okay.
Whoops, didn't mean to guess that.
Or did you?
No, I didn't.
On waking up, I am going and realizing that I am well and stuff. I will cast this. Oh, let me decide what level I will. Oops. Oh no! One
She's
second.
casting Hunger of Hadar.
Yep.
It backed out of the game.
If you're gonna rage quit, you could just tell us.
No, I didn't. It just closed on me.
Sure.
I'm gonna cast this.
Dispel magic.
Myself.
Okay. All right. And so you regain your maximum hit points.
Yay! Okay. I'm going to ask which one of those two would like me to try and dispel the magic on them first.
Well, considering he can't really do anything, I point at Melkar.
Forget about my new gift already.
You probably should cast it on him.
Okay, so I cast it on Melkar.
Okay. And same goes for Melkar. You regain your maximum hit points.
Woo!
So do I just look like pale white, bags under my eyes, stuff like that?
Yeah, you look a bit sickly. I mean, you did manage to get a long rest, so from a sleep standpoint, you're not doing bad, but just something's off.
I'm gonna cast Prestidigitation on myself, just to kind of clean myself up a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna take 3 short rests in a row.
What?
Oh wait, no. I'm gonna take a short rest.
Okay.
Now that I've tired myself out by casting those 2 spells. And while during my short rest, I'm gonna cast a hit die.
And I'm gonna do my spell of thingy.
And at the end of it, I'm gonna cast a spell magic on Ron.
Yeah, I did that. So you get an additional D6.
Okay, that moves me up to max. So
Oh, that did?
I just needed 1 more point to move up to max.
Oh.
So
Well, Melkar, if you would like to do the same.
I'm fine now.
I mean, you don't get your hit points back, you just get your max back.
Yeah.
So you'd have to use a hit die to get back to max. Oh well, either way.
Okay, I'm fine.
All right.
So, and then
Is-
with that, would I get, like, as soon
Are you-
as Yoan cast that on me, can I do mine as well?
Well, I don't know if you're fixed yet. This is a DC roll.
Oh.
Ron, you do get your max
Just be happy I have a high DC.
Sweet. So, I get my max back, and then I'll use a hit die, and then that also counts toward my Song of Rest, right? Like I can use Song of Rest.
That is correct.
Sweet. Literally doesn't matter what I roll, I'll be back to max. I would just miss
Just-
one.
Just like mine.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I healed 7 more than I needed.
Yeah, I healed 3 more than I needed. Alright. Feeling good, alright. I still look like shit a little bit, but feeling good.
Okay. Now that it's like 3 in the afternoon, where are we at?
So it would seem that as you traveled upon everyone falling asleep, well, I guess for starters, Yoan, you probably would have nodded off somewhere between the ruins of the windmill and the town of Valaki. So at the point when you wake up, you actually find that the wagon is sort of pulled off the road just beyond the tree line, seemingly on a bend. And Rictavio is just kind of seemingly straining to keep awake.
I asked Rictavio if he would like me to take over the reins.
Yeah, he kind of looks over at you, very visible bags under his eyes, and he says, "Yes, I think that would be best. I am growing a bit tired."
Where are we currently?
I'm going to make sure, like, ask him where we are and ask him based like directions to make sure I know where we're going.
All right. So essentially, you are told that you are just past Valaki, off, to the woods, just before the bridge over the Luna River. And so what you need to do is cross the river, continue straight where the path splits, and then, when possible, follow the path around to the left, essentially performing a U-turn as you do so.
Okay.
All right.
How is Valaki looking?
You were asleep.
No, I'm asking Rictavio. Sorry.
I see. He says, well, rather desolate. Would seem, well, in the grand scheme of things, not much has changed from one regime to the next, though there are no makings of sham festivals or anything of that sort in the square nowadays.
Okay, I was just curious.
And with that, Rictavio kind of climbs up and lets himself in the hatch of the wagon, and proceeds to just go, and you almost immediately just hear as he nods off to sleep. And so it falls to Yoan then to pilot, for lack of a better term, the rest of the way. And, well, I guess, Yoan, go ahead and make animal handling check.
I feel like I should have done this before.
You probably would have.
Can I have advantage?
I will modify the DC. All right. So you get approximately to the last turn, and as you go to round the corner, the horse just seems to stop. Doesn't seem to want to proceed.
I'm gonna cast Speak with Animals as a ritual.
Okay, so 10 minutes later.
What's wrong?
Acorn just, kind of whinnies, what you then understand to mean, I don't recognize this place.
No. Have you recognized all the other places we went through?
Yes.
Well, did you recognize them the first time you went through them?
No.
Did anything bad happen?
um, not too bad, I guess.
So why should this be any different?
I don't trust it,
Why don't you trust it?
because I don't.
Can you trust me?
I don't know.
At this point, I walk up. Yoan, why are we stopped?
The horse doesn't trust this place.
Why not?
He doesn't know.
I have to lead the way.
I'll walk up in front of the horse and just kind of look at the, check out the horse, take a step, check out the horse, and I'll just keep walking like a step at a time down the path. And then I'll say, see, there's nothing wrong.
I translate for the horse thing. He's showing you that nothing happens when he's walking down the road.
Okay, Ron, go ahead and make an animal handling check.
Okay.
Okay, the horse kind of like cranes its head forward a little bit, seemingly like cautiously surveying the road in front of it, before slowly moving forward.
Also, my animal friendship thing was 24 hours. So if this is not
Oh, okay.
24 hours.
Well, in that case, go ahead and roll that again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take the 12.
So yeah, what I said. So yeah, the horse does somewhat hesitantly proceed, still visibly wary of its surroundings. But you continue on for what seems like about a mile, maybe a little longer, before you reach a bend, where eventually you can see out into the kind of foothills and kind of shallow river valley that sprawls out in front of you, as well as off to sort of the left side of what looks to be a large clearing as you breach the tree line, a rather old, for lack of a better term, just worn down manor house. You can see there's just sort of this quiet, starkly desolate road, just entirely empty, void of even any visible animal life. Looking at the mansion that stands in front of you, it has a number of turrets to it that are capped with the kind of like conical shapes of fairy tale castles. The towers are lined with battlements. You can see probably about a third of the structure has just collapsed, as has part of the roof, but the rest of it seems pretty much intact. There's a dark, from the looks of it, octagonal tower that stands up above the surrounding architecture. And as you kind of slowly roll forward, you do hear a distant crack of thunder, and almost in response to it, you hear a series of howls from the woods down below in the river valley. But there's no movement in or around the manor that you can see. Just sort of stands there, silent, and almost as though it's just fossilized in time.
Is there a working stable?
Let's see. You look off to the side of the manor, and you see what was probably once a stable. At this point, it's pretty much just a pile of blackened wooden beams that have clearly just been burned to the ground from their previous working state. You can see kind of a stone foundation laid out around the pile, suggesting that that's kind of the framework of the stable that once was, but yeah, it's essentially just rubble at this point.
Okay.
So how far are we away from the mansion?
How long has it been since Rictavio fell asleep?
Let's see. I'd say probably like 2, maybe 3 hours.
Did he didn't get a long rest before, did he?
Let's see. No, he wouldn't have, because you guys woke him up. Yeah.
I thought you could still get a long rest as long as you don't do anything like combat or anything like that to reset it.
Well, you know, that's fair, because he didn't really do much. Although, I would say,
That still doesn't replace sleep.
yeah, so maybe the time that you spent down at the camp or whatever, you know, he might have drifted back off, but still, he was up, essentially driving, for the entire time that you guys were sleeping.
Oh yeah, around with that.
So yeah, you can't put a horse and buggy on autopilot, unfortunately. So he's been awake for a long time.
Boo! He's gotta sleep for at least 3 or 4 more hours.
Yeah. Or you could just, you know, leave him to his own devices, I guess. Whatever you want to do.
Park him right outside the mansion.
He should be safe with the tiger, so
I say we should let the tiger out. Because it's been a few days.
well, you can ask him.
Ask who? The tiger?
Yeah.
Sure.
If he wants to stay with Rictavio or if he wants to come out.
Well, I mean, we can just open the door and let him in, let him come and go as he pleases.
I guess. Okay. So we'll open the trapdoor.
It'd probably be safer for the horse if the tiger's around.
Okay. So yeah, you kind of swing open the large side door of the wagon, and
Is my speak with animals still active?
it lasts what, 10 minutes?
Yeah.
We'll say you better hurry.
I tell Acorn not to be scared of the tiger that may come out of the carriage.
Okay, it's Acorn like looks over at you like, tiger?
I just say yes.
The horse is just kind of side eyeing you like, what the fuck?
Surprise, your dinner.
He won't eat you. Okay. How should we explore this manor then?
So, just for clarity, where exactly are you guys leaving the wagon? Are you trying to like park it where the stable used to be, or are you maybe kind of down the road? What's the thought process here?
What are we looking for in this manor again,
What was that?
Taylor? What are we looking for in this manor again?
A weapon.
Let's park it in front of the manor.
Sure.
Okay. So, standing directly in front of the manor, perched atop a 10-foot wide, 10-foot high cube of granite, is a moss-covered statue of a dragon.
Nope.
It's
Parking it on
winged.
the side. Parking it on the side of the manor, away from that thing.
Okay, so then your choices there would be to either follow the path around to the right, which would lead to the wreckage of the stable, or you could go off path, off road, around to the left, where you don't see anything other than what look to be entirely intact outer walls.
By the stable it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you bring the wagon around to the side and get everything situated, opening the door and reassuring the horse and all that good stuff. What's the plan from there?
I'll say everybody, and I'll look at you and say you might want to tell the tiger too. That stone dragon is what's guarding this place. That's what the fortune teller lady said.
Could have just been a figure of speech. It just looks like it because it's right out in front.
I tell the tiger to be that you should make sure that he protects Rictavio and the horse if something happens.
Okay. Just seems to kind of acknowledge that, I suppose. And let's see. Oh, because this is fun.
That looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I want to walk up to it.
Okay.
Can I Arcana check it?
You can.
I'm
Go
gonna
ahead
go
and
with him.
make your check.
I will too.
Hey.
Can I
also
as well,
want
or can I check it as well?
Yeah, anyone who would like to make an Arcana check. Okay. So let's see here. I would say, Ron, you are able to pick up on what seems like sort of a residual magic aura. More or less in line with what you've experienced in like ancient magical traps and things that may have stopped working over the course of time.
Okay, so it was once a guardian, but it's just kind of fizzled out over time.
So it would seem.
I will express that to the group. I'll just say.
See, just a figure of speech.
I don't trust Ron.
Is there any gems or anything on this?
On the dragon?
Yeah, on the statue, like, or on the base.
Not that you can see.
It's marble, like solid marble.
Well, it's sitting atop a cube of granite.
Oh,
Yeah, the statue itself is carved out of kind of just a whitish gray stone.
ah. Hmm. I'll look at Melkar and cast message and say, "I dare you to hit it."
How far is the wagon from the statue?
Probably about 150 feet.
I'm gonna stand back there and I'm gonna blast through it. I'll just blast.
Okay. So you kind of walk back over near the stable, and from there, launch an Eldritch Blast. And yeah, it emanates from your hand and flies toward the statue, and you see a few chunks of the moss that kind of coat the dragon just go flying. The statue itself doesn't seem to be damaged or or react in any way.
Eh.
It is worth noting, as you are kind of approaching from the right side of the manor, there are essentially what you could call two functional entrances that you can see. There's the apparent main entrance of the place, which is up front, just beyond the dragon statue, up a quick flight of stairs. The walls near the stable seem to have been breached and crumbled in a number of places, allowing a number of holes large enough for people to make their way through that way, should they choose to.
I guess. Can I go back up to the dragon and do a ritual identify on it?
Yeah, sure. So, 10 minutes later. Well, I guess in the meantime, is anybody doing anything else in those 10 minutes?
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the hole over by the stables. And look
Okay.
around.
Alright, so there are a series of holes, like probably about half of the...
I'm going with Ron.
Okay. Probably about half of the wall closest to the stable, like on the exterior of the mansion, is just rubble. You just see the rubble kind of strewn throughout, both inside and outside the chamber. Obviously, a lot of it caused by the partial collapse of the rooms that rest above it in the manor. On the pink marble floor, you see a number of fallen chandeliers lying, in many cases, shattered among broken chairs and other furnishings. You see thick webs stretch from wall to wall, and moving among them, throughout them, are too many giant spiders to count.
Like, when you say giant spiders, how big are they?
They would be classified as large.
Oh, shit. Oh, okay, so they're like horse-sized spiders.
Yeah, they're horse-sized spiders.
Right.
They get freak spiders.
Go ahead and back out of there. And,
Alright.
I'm just gonna not taking my eyes off them, but just back the fuck out of there and say, "Yo, get out of there!" And I'm gonna say, Yoan, come here. We need to move the horse.
Okay. Wait, where's this hole at? I was with you, Ron.
Yeah, it's right next to where we parked the horses, I think.
Yeah, it's on the same side of the building.
Okay, let's move the horse. I go and lead the horse to the other side of the building.
Let's park it in front of the dragon.
Okay. I park the horse in front of the dragon.
Okay. When you say the horse, do you mean like the horse and the wagon, or just the horse?
Yeah,
Okay.
full shebang.
Okay. Fair enough.
Don't squish me.
I don't squish you.
I,
Suddenly, Ron grows in size.
yes.
Yep. Okay. After the cautious proceedings that go on near that end of the manor, I would say Malkar's probably had just about enough time to his identify ritual. And you're just attempting to identify the statue, right?
The whole statue and the slab that it's on.
Okay.
See if there's anything affecting it or anything.
Yeah, you gather that it is not currently affected by any magical effects.
Alright.
And about this time we come around and I say, Melkar, let's avoid that side entrance. There are fucking giant spiders. I have a feeling we're gonna have to burn this place down too.
You see a little flame flicker in my hand for a second.
Not now. We gotta go, we gotta get what we came here for.
What exactly was here being guarded by the statue? Again?
A weapon.
Is this the same thing where a fortress within a fortress shrouded by fire?
No.
I speculated that it could have been like a hidden door behind a fireplace or something.
This is a card of power and strength that tells of a weapon. Vengeance, the Sword of Sunlight. And it's in a fallen house guarded by a great stone dragon. Then we have to look to the highest peak, which is like the attic.
Alright.
We should find the highest tower.
Let's try to look for any secret rooms behind fireplaces too, just while we're here, just in case.
And I wish I had some ability to teleport. I could just bamf in, get it, and bamf out.
So I'm gonna walk up to the front entrance and peek into it.
Okay.
Standing about 10, 15 feet back, just in case. And
Yep, same here.
getting ready to blast anything that might be there.
I will be sneaky about this.
All right. So the main entrance itself is made up of flagstone steps flanked by stone railings that lead to stone landing in front of a pair of tall wooden doors with rusted iron bands across them and knockers shaped like small dragons. Carved above the entrance is the word Argenvostholt.
Do I know what that means?
I guess you could make, let's call that an intelligence? No, let's call it a history check. And if anybody's curious, that's how you spell that.
What language is that in?
Well, for starters, Yoan, at least the first part of the name, the Argenvost, sounds sort of like
German.
sounds sort of like a language you've heard uttered back home, or at least near home. That being the language of the Dragonborn people, or Draconic.
What does it say?
There you go. You recognize Argynvost is actually just a name.
Oh. I'll say, oh, it's a name.
Yep, I know that.
I'm going to turn and look at the statue and say, Argynvost. Wait, what was it? Argynvost Holt? I will say that.
Okay.
In
You say
Draconic.
that. You say that in Draconic. Nothing happens.
Cool. Well, shall we?
I mean, I'm peeking in the front door.
Okay.
Not
So-
knocking.
Not knocking, just kind of pulling it open and peeking in.
Yep.
Okay. So yeah, as you make your way up the stone steps to the landing toward the door, the dragon statue does open its mouth and just go just blowing harmless air in your direction, closing its mouth.
Okay.
Oh, it was facing us?
Yes.
Oh!
Was it always facing this way?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep an eye out on it.
Well, no,
Alright.
it was going to probably blow flames, but now it just blows on us.
I'm still keeping an eye on it.
I'm gonna go up to where Yoan is. And did Yoan go through?
Not yet.
Oh.
In fact, I have yet to say what's visible on the other side of the door.
Right, I'll wait then. Sorry.
So, as Yoan pulls the door open ever so slightly, there is a bit of a creaking groan as it just budges a little bit. Peering in, you see a room that, for lack of a better term, it almost feels like the tomb of a king. There's a grand staircase that leads up to a series of stone balconies held aloft by stone pillars and arches. There is a faded tapestry depicting a nobleman in silver armor that hangs from an iron rod above the staircase landing. From the angle you're looking, you can see essentially one of the two side walls. Yoan, would you like to have opened the left or right door to peek through?
Right. No, left. Right. Left.
Both.
Okay.
Left.
Okay. So you would then be looking at the opposite side of, basically away from the spider room.
Yeah.
Okay. And so in doing that, you see, looks like two doors off against that wall, as well as one in the far wall, kind of in the back corner, seeming to lead to other deeper central portions of the manor. Let's see what else. Along the walls that you can see, displayed on marble pedestals, you can see there are a number of alabaster busts of look like strong, noble men. You can see that there's one that's been seemingly knocked over and shattered. The remnants kind of strewn across the mosaic floor. And 2 chandeliers made of wrought iron hang from the ceiling, almost like big black spiders.
Cool. I'm gonna close that door and peek in the right one.
Okay. Much the same thing. Busts, chandeliers, 2 doors on the side wall as well as one in the back corner. All of them seem to be closed. Also worth noting that on the other side, the back corner doors seem to be slightly ajar.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'll talk on about this. And then I will go and I will open up both doors all the way.
Okay. And the doors creak and groan as you pull them open. And you can see a bit of the dull Barovian sunlight pour in through the doorway, illuminating the place a little bit better. You see this chamber laid out in front of you. What are you doing?
I'm going to go peek into one of the open doors. The closest one.
Okay. So about 3-4 steps into the room, you see a great shadow with wings move across the walls of the chamber and then disappear. And you hear a soft hiss in the darkness.
I can't see anything though, even with my dark vision.
No.
I back up and I call to Malkar and ask if he can see what's in the back of this room.
Back of where?
The foyer of this house.
Alright, I'll peek over there.
I hear things hissing back there.
You heard hissing.
Yes, and saw something flying.
It's probably a cat.
Cats don't fly.
They do if you throw them.
I guess I'm
Throw a
gonna...
cat.
I'm gonna peek in and take my time and look on both sides and
Ron just
slowly
froze.
move in.
Okay. Yeah, looking all around this chamber, combing over every inch. You don't see anything, especially anything that would cast such a large shadow as that.
Where did it go?
Into the back of the room.
Ooh.
I messaged Melkar, should we just burn this place down and say fuck it?
Afterwards.
Okay.
Let's see, I'm just looking through my spells real quick. Make sure what I can cast and what I can't cast. Okay, yeah, should be fine. I'm gonna slowly move towards that room, if it's on the first floor.
Yeah, so looking around now that you're fully in the chamber, there are 2 doors on each side wall and 2 doors on the far back wall. one on the far left, one on the far right. One on the far left seems to be slightly open.
Gonna blast it.
Okay.
Try and blast it over. I'm not still walking into the slightly open door.
Okay. So you just blast the doors open. And there's this loud bang as it just koosh! Doesn't seem to be any response.
Are there any candles or anything like that I could light with prestidigitation?
Yeah, there are a few kind of, interspersed throughout different wall sconces lining the sides of this chamber.
Yeah, I'll try and light each one I see.
I'll help him.
Okay. And with regards to the door that you blasted open, are you still kind of a ways back from that?
Yeah, I only wanted to walk about maybe 5-10 feet into the house.
Okay. Alright. So yeah, you go around lighting what few candles you can see. And there is now kind of a warmer, flickering candlelight glow illuminating at least part of the chamber.
Alright, I guess I'll save both of that. Let's go check that back room and see what went in there. How big did you say this thing looked, Yoan?
How big was it, Eric?
Pretty big. Hard to really say, but looked kind of dragon-like.
It was decently sized.
Alright, I'm gonna slowly make my way up towards that door.
Okay.
I'll follow him 5 feet off to his right.
Alright.
I'm bringing
So you... Okay. So you inch closer. What would you like to do? Essentially, as you close the distance, is there a point where you're going to stop, or would you like to peek in, or would you like to bust in SWAT team style? What's the plan?
I have my spear at the ready.
Just have my hands at the ready, waiting to cast a spell, and I can see in complete darkness, so I'm gonna just slowly peek my way in.
Okay. So yeah, as you kind of close the distance and can see partway into the room, you can tell that you're sort of looking at a corner still. It would seem that it's kind of a longer rectangular room. Long ways to you would be left and right. So you're kind of looking at a shallow corner at this point. But as you inch forward and a little bit more of the room comes into view at a time, you can see as you kind of approach the threshold, there's a long table with sculpted dragons for legs standing in the center of this long hall type space. The chairs that surround the table have backs carved to resemble folded dragon wings, and several of the chairs have been flipped or smashed into pieces. Suspended above the table is a crystal chandelier that glows with a soft white light. And standing in windowed alcoves are two life-sized statues depicting knights with dragon-winged helms and shields. You can see that there are a few little streams of rainwater that are beginning to trickle through the cracks in the ceiling, flowing down from the wall, kind of the one that you're looking through the doorway on, and constantly adding to a large puddle on the floor. there are a number of sets of wooden doors that all seem to branch out into different sections of the mansion. Let's see, what else?
Was I told it looked dragon-like?
That depends on what Yoan would like to share.
Did not mean to. I just hit the enter button. Well, I told you it had wings.
Would it be safe to say that combined with the big figure with wings and then the dragon statue out front and all the dragon decorations that I would potentially know it speaks Draconic? Or would that be better?
I mean, that would be a fair guess to venture, I suppose.
Okay. As I slowly peek in, I want to say out in Draconic, who came in here?
I'm going to say in Undercommon. Hello?
I'm just gonna look intimidating.
All right. Dead silence.
I guess I'm gonna poke just my head in and look to the left and then to the right.
All right. So as you look in, you can see now another pair of doors. These largely made up of glass, with cracked panes, kind of standing open between other panels of stained glass in the opposite wall. The panels of stained glass seem to depict silver dragons in flight. Beyond the glass doors, you can't quite tell, but looks like a dark, misty room. You can just barely make out kind of the run of like large bench-style seats that almost seem to suggest a chapel or something to that effect.
So I didn't see any creature to the left or right.
No?
Alright, I'm gonna slowly come in and walk towards that chapel.
Okay.
Staying away from the table in case there's like the cover on it and I can't see what's under it.
Okay. So yeah, you slowly make your way through the hall with this long table at the center of it, across to the opposite wall, and over to the double doors that do stand slightly ajar, looking into this possibly chapel. And how far would you like to proceed here?
Just like slowly open the door and say in like a normal volume voice in Draconic, hello?
Okay. So as you poke your head in, you see there are a number of cracked wooden pillars that support another, looks like a balcony, kind of in a U shape that overhangs what you can now clearly tell to be a stone-walled chapel. There are narrow archways on either side that lead to spiral staircases that you can now tell curl up to the balcony. And there's a door set into the wall on your left with a wooden beam that seems to bar it shut. At the opposite end of the chapel, you can see a stone altar flanked by dark iron candelabras. The altar itself is carved with a rising sun pattern. There are tall, arching windows set with panels of stained glass that decorate the walls behind the altar. One of them has been shattered, covering the floor with shards of colored glass and letting the thick fog from outside sort of spill in and fill up the room. Through the fog that kind of lingers near ground level, you see 3 armored figures kneeling before the altar.
Are they alive? I'm just gonna follow Elkar.
Well,
So, 5 feet off to his right.
okay. And Melkar is like calling out, trying to get their attention. What's the plan?
Yeah. Interconic still.
Okay. Uh, so, these figures all quickly turn, seemingly startled. And as you take in their appearance, you can see that they're all deathly pale, with white, pure white eyes, no visible iris or pupil.
Just
And
gonna wave at him.
as they focus their attention on you, they all seem to just quickly stand up and pick up their long swords that are leaning on the steps near the altar.
They look like they're about to come at us.
It does look like they're about to come at
I'm
you.
running.
The biggest, baddest, like leader-looking one of those 3. Is there one that looks like they're of a higher ranking?
Make an insight check.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, they all look pretty much the same.
Alright, I'm gonna, on the biggest, baddest guy, just, tallest, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna suggest that he not attack and he just talk to us.
Okay. And you're doing this in what language?
I'm going to do it in Draconic.
Okay. Other stuff. Okay. There is no visible reaction.
Right.
And at this point, they are hefting their long swords and beginning to trudge towards you, kind of ascending from their kneeling position, first to a slow, kind of foot-dragging walk, and then beginning to pick up speed.
Yeah, I'm gone. I'm gone. Dashing.
What?
I'll reach by the statue.
I'm running after Malkar to go back to the area that the trailer's in.
Okay. What's Rod doing?
Yeah, seeing that doesn't work, I'm fucking hauling ass too.
Alright, so you hear the heavy footfalls of these 3, whatever they are, humanoid creatures thumping along behind you. Dun, 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 dun. You go hauling ass out of the front of this building.
I'm also on the way out. I'm gonna cast I think Prestidigitation is the one where you can open and close doors, right?
I'm gonna thaumaturgy.
Ah, shit.
Then the door has to be unlocked.
Never mind then. I was gonna shut the doors behind me on the way.
Okay. Well, too bad.
Alright.
So you guys are just running.
Yep.
All right. Yeah, and it does seem like as you're dashing and doing your best to get away, they don't seem to be gaining any ground on you.
I
And-
get outside and I yell for Octavio.
Okay. Let's see here.
He's gonna be exhausted.
Yeah, there's no response.
Okay. Well, oh well.
So you're getting outside. Are you like running for the wagon, trying to just get there? And what's the game plan specifically?
Well, at that point, I'm gonna turn and fight. I just want to fight in an open area.
Okay,
Yeah,
so what, like
by the statue.
down the steps, kind of like near the dragon statue or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
I go and grab the cat.
Okay.
Cat.
The tiger.
Yes.
Oh.
And you're all making a stand here at the base of the stairs with the saber-toothed tiger then, yeah?
Yep.
I want to shoot him the moment I can see him.
Okay.
Same.
Alright, so as the figures, you can hear them, hear the footfalls, so thump, 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 thump behind you. They suddenly trail off, and you just see one of them standing, looking out at you from between the open doors, not proceeding towards you, just staring.
Oh, damn.
All right, and that's where we'll pick it up next time.
Oh.
Melkar shot first.
Damn.